Good morning. I think we'll get started now. This is session 17. It's Community Connections and Sharing Your Gifts. And we've got a wonderful panel of MCO, or Managed Care Organization people up here that are going to share some stories and tips and tricks, and going to let them take over here, and they'll do their own introductions on that. I just wanted to also let you know that there are evaluations on the table, so after the session is done, if you could fill those out and then just leave them on the table, we will pick those up. So without further ado.
Wonderful, thank you, Megan. All right, so before we start, just a show of smiles, who has enjoyed the 2023 Self-Determination Conference? All right, hands, smiles, and claps, that's what we like. Well, welcome. We are very excited that you are curious about community connections and sharing your gifts. So today we're going to walk through circles of support, community, and social resources. Hang on as I navigate both, right? We just need a couple more hands here. This is really a presentation in partnership with the amazing Ginger Butte here off to my right, as well as the other managed care organizations. So my name is Katie Kalmus. I'm from Lakeland Care, which is a managed care organization. And with me are all my partners spread out throughout the entire room here from the other managed care organizations. So that's going to be Community Care Inc., Inclusa, iCare, and My Choice Wisconsin. All right, so before we get into what community connections are and why it's so important, we first want to do an icebreaker with your table mates. So I'd like for you to turn to your table mates and please share, what is your favorite thing about the fall season? Hello, come on in. Please find a spot where you can sit.
Yeah. Linnea, maybe putting it in the corner would be better. Thank you.
All right. We'll give you a couple more minutes to share your favorite thing about the fall season, and then we're just going to ask for a couple volunteers to share those with us. All right, I'm going to bring everybody back. Bring your attention back up front here, and we'll get started. I think I heard the reference Green Bay Packers about 5 times. So I think we can put that on as a favorite fall season. What else does somebody want? What's your favorite thing about the fall season? The fall rides, absolutely. Hay rides and the pumpkin rides. Well, happy birthday. That's a great way to love the fall season. What did you say? Riding horses. Oh, I bet you that's beautiful with the leaves. That's a great activity. One more? The changing of the colors, absolutely. We're very, very lucky to be in Wisconsin and have that fall season. One more way in the back. Oh, yes, fall baking. The apple pies, the pumpkin pies, and all the fritters that come with that. Yes, we love that. All right, well, in today's session, thank you, we're going to learn about community connections and why they're so important. We're going to be able to hear an example of how self-advocacy really blends itself nicely with community connections. We're going to have an opportunity with your table mates, and then as a larger group, to talk about how you're currently involved in your community, within your community, what you'd like to be involved in, and then what are some of the barriers that you're experiencing. We're going to walk through a little bit about the pay for performance, which is on Community Connections. That is a 5-year project that the managed care organizations are committed to for our family care and family care partnership members. And then lastly, which is my absolute favorite part, is we're going to take the next step in sharing your gifts. We'll give everybody one more second to settle in. It's a packed room and we are so excited to see everyone. All right. So first off, we wanted to kind of just discuss and get a baseline of what community connections are. Community connections is really having that sense of belonging to a place and a community. And by belonging, it's your feelings of being an important part of something within your community. Community connections also includes valued social relationships, which is really about being connected to social groups that are meaningful to you. Those relationships are built on mutual respect. So a valued social role could be a leader, it could be a member of an organization or a committee, it could be a student, an employee, a trainer. There are so many different roles, valued social roles within our communities, and quite honestly, a lot that are untapped yet. And then lastly, very important is the social connectedness, the feeling that you belong to a group or a community. It's about the relationships that you have with others, and then your relationships with the larger communities. Lastly, social connection is an important part of your health and well-being. All right. So we all know that our basic needs of food, water, shelter, and safety are incredibly important. But I think sometimes we forget that social connections and community connections are also part of a basic need. As human beings, we want and we thrive on that belongingness. We want to have that interaction. We want to feel like we're a part of something. We want to appreciate others and feel appreciated. We want to recognize and celebrate others, and it's great to feel recognized, right? But more importantly, we want to feel respected and we want to respect others. And that really is the gist of community connections. It helps to create those mutual relationships. And by mutual relationships, I mean the type of relationships where you come together and it is you benefit and I benefit, right? So that's mutual and there's that respect. All right. Community connections is also important because it helps you maintain those social connections with others. It certainly keeps you active, both in your mind and in your body. And it helps you live fuller, healthier lives through the connections to people and the places within your communities. And probably the biggest reason for community connections now, with where we are as a world, is it reduces the feeling of loneliness. loneliness has an extremely negative impact on your health. Loneliness can cause diabetes, it can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, anxiety, depression, and 60% of United States adults report that they frequently feel lonely. And 1 out of every 3 adults reports that they feel lonely on a regular basis, if not every day. What's very concerning is that the loneliest group, the group that reports that they're very lonely, is those aged 16 to 24. So that's a very young, that's our younger group. And we really want to make sure that we're tackling that together as a community. So ultimately, community connections is important because it gives you meaningful relationships through quality social connections. All right, here is the best part, really helping kind of map how self-advocacy and community connections comes together. So I'm going to introduce Ginger Buke. Ginger is Ginger's self-determination and self-advocacy started when she was young as in the age of 4 years old, spunky pigtails. She's had a lifetime involvement with advocacy and community organizations such as the United Cerebral Palsy, as well as People First, where she is currently serving as a president. Ginger's passion is helping others becoming the best self-advocate that they can be. She's a true leader in her community and has helped numerous community projects, including the Oshkosh Inclusive Park Project, which helped create a safe and accessible outdoor recreational environment for all individuals, all abilities, and all ages. Now, I live in Oshkosh, and I can tell you it was a hot project. It really took our community to come together. And I have to say, this past summer, it was amazing to drive down the road and see that park completely packed with all different ages and all abilities, and everyone just really coming together and enjoying each other and that beautiful weather. All right, so I have some questions for Ginger, so I'm gonna scoot on over here by Ginger. All right, Ginger, so let's talk about your self-advocacy journey. Can you please share some of the long-term projects that you've been involved with?
Yes. Well, as Katie mentioned, I was ambassador for United Cerebral Palsy when I was 4 years old. I've been like a member for over 10 years, and I did try the self-direction program of IRIS, but I found that I was basically going backwards to go forward, which didn't make sense to me. And like Katie said, I'm active with People First Wisconsin. I am a graduate of the BPD Partners in Policy Making program. It's a program that really heightens your knowledge of the what the disability culture is and how you can apply it to your local community, and they teach you how to talk to your legislators about issues that are on your radar and maybe a passion of yours.
Excellent. So Ginger's not giving herself enough credit, so I'm going to toot her horn for her. Ginger has been on our member advisory committee for over 10 years. This is a really important need, and I encourage you, if you are a managed care organization member, I would love for you to reach out to your care team and express interest in the member advisory committee. It is an excellent way to ensure that your voice is heard. We are constantly recruiting to have members and their legal representatives and community partners on our advisory committees. In the same way that Ginger talked about the policy making, we really can't lead change if we don't have everyone at the table. We really can't help us as a community continue to grow if we aren't sharing our voice and if we aren't listening. So community connections is really one of the ways that it ties so nicely with self-advocacy, is that you as self-advocates have your voice, and those committees are really the greatest place to be heard and to really have a say in what changes can come about. Ginger has been to this conference for over 10 years.
Right.
And has been a, yeah.
I've been like a stockholder of like a breakout session, or I did a keynote one year, and all these things can be achieved if you're passionate about advocacy and reaching people
Absolutely,
where they are.
absolutely. Ginger, what about more short-term projects that you've been involved in?
Favorite short-term project I was involved in was when I was working for a dear friend. We submitted our names for the BPDD's Take Your Legislator to Work, where you invite your assemblyman and your senator to quote unquote job shadow you, either for a whole day or a few hours, and I did it in 2013 with Recruitex, which represents the Fine Lake, Oshkosh, and South of Fine Lake area, and Representative Gordon Hanstad, he represented like a small voting section of the city of Oshkosh.
Fantastic. Ginger has also, like she had mentioned, been a part of Wisconsin's Partners in Policy Making, and I appreciate the plug that she did for that group. So certainly if you'd like to know more details, reach out to a BPDD colleague and they'll be able to hook you up with that. Ginger, do you want to talk about the Sparks grant?
Yes, the Sparks grant is like it says, spark. You create a spark with the grant for community change or community inclusion, and we use the Sparks grant to hold an awareness carnival in the city of Oshkosh at the fairgrounds, so that people could come out and find out why inclusion is way different than your ADA specs.
Great point. Excellent point. Ginger, there's one more in your long list of
Yeah.
projects here, and it's one that I know that you're very passionate about, so I'm just going to cue you on this one. Do you want to talk about the supported decision-making?
Yes, a bunch of us were asked to come together as a group and talk about supported decision making, what it could look like, which it is an alternative to guardianship, and it's a really cool tool to use because the person that uses supported decision making can appoint mom or dad or whoever they want to like go to the doctor with them, help them like if they have a problem at work. They're there to support the person, not take over for the person and tell what's right or wrong, but like support the person.
That mutual relationship. Absolutely. All right, so what advice do you have for someone who's just starting their self-advocacy journey?
Well, it can be scary to start new things, but once you are out of your comfort zone, you're like, hey, this isn't so bad. That is building your self-esteem and like really giving yourself a positive reinforcement.
Absolutely. And Ginger, you were nervous when you first signed up for your first conference. I'm assuming you were, well,
Right.
maybe you weren't nervous when you did your first speaking engagement because, I mean, you seem like a pro.
Right.
But when you talk about getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things, as a self-advocate, what are some ways that like if somebody wants to get involved with self-advocacy?
Well, to get involved with self-advocacy, you need to know yourself. You need to know what you need, and you need to know how to get it. And it can just be like saying, I don't want oatmeal for breakfast, I want eggs and toast. I mean, small decisions like that build your self-esteem, and they are like your bedrock to advocating for yourself.
Fantastic. All right, Ginger, how are you connected to your community?
I like going down to our local farmers market when the weather permits it. I have neighbors that I'm pretty good friends with, and we look out for each other, and just like even going out in public to the library. You never know who you're gonna inspire,
Absolutely.
because I am someone with a moderate to severe disability that is actually thriving yet.
Absolutely. And you've been thriving. I was asking Ginger when she first moved out on her own. So how old were you when you first moved out?
I was 21 years old when I moved out into my first apartment, which I still reside in, and it's been 34 years.
34 years living independently. And Ginger's truly a celebrity here at the conference, but then also in Oshkosh. So really the project work for the Inclusion Park is a springboard. I think it's another opportunity for others to have similar ideas and get creative of what else could we do to make Oshkosh better. So that's something that kind of hopefully spark a little interest towards you of what could you do within your own communities to help improve the inclusion and diversity. All right, Ginger, what do you feel are the benefits of making connections with your community?
The benefits are boundless because being a respected part of your community, you're able to share ideas with your city council. You're able to like ask to talk to your county board representative. The ideas are boundless.
Absolutely. Very self-fulfilling. All right. So thank you, Ginger, for helping us kind of see the bridge between self-advocacy and community connections. And now we would like to hear from you guys. So we're going to take some time for you to think about the answers to the following questions. In what ways are you involved in your community? What kind of activities would you like to be more involved with? And then what are some of the barriers that you experience when doing those activities? So work within your table, and then we're going to come back to a larger group, and those who would like to share, we'd love to hear from you. For those of us who are joining virtually, if you could feel comfortable, please in the chat, add your answers, and we will make sure to share them as well. Okay. Lots of discussion, and I appreciate that, but I want to bring us back because now we're looking for those who are brave and bold, who want to share about ways that you're currently involved in your community. All right, let's hear it.
I'm involved with the community because I do special sports, and the other one is building. Yeah.
What did you say? So it participates in special sports through the school district.
Uh,
Oh, and you do bowling, bocce ball, and cornhole, and you're thinking about doing what this winter?
Swimming.
Fantastic. Those are great activities. Anybody else want to share?
I do taekwondo and choir.
Fantastic. Who else wants to share about how you're involved in your community?
Okay. I am involved in my church program, my day program for adults with disabilities. I do horse activities, I volunteer at a nursing home, and I work at the hospital, and I write articles for the local newspaper.
Woo! You're owning it. I love it. All right. I'm getting my steps in. This is great. Thanks, guys.
volunteering at the YMCA. We've got a TIL group at our local YMCA, which stands for Transitioning Independent Lifestyles, where there's at least 20 plus people attend it every week. Then we have sports with the YMCA, adaptive recreation sports with the YMCA, and sports support group, mothers and fathers and families, and all sorts of stuff.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. I really like the examples of, like we said before, about how community connections keeps you active in your mind and in your body. That's fantastic. So one more, yes.
I just wanted to let people know that I do a lot of volunteer work. Most of my volunteer work has nothing to do with disabilities. As a matter of fact, you'd be surprised that a lot of the people that I've actually told people that, oh, I'm an epileptic, you'd think I rolled over them with a steamroller. I do a lot of volunteer work at the Milwaukee Public Museum. And I'll let you know a secret, the oldest thing I've ever held in my hands is around 5 billion years old, give or take a couple of weeks.
Thank you for sharing, Barry. All right. Now, what kind of activities would you like to be more involved with? Thanks for being brave.
Hi, my name is Chad. I've always loved the outdoors and being active. So I'd like to be more involved with, I used to volunteer at the food pantry, but I'd like to be more involved with like Habitat for Humanity or something like that. That's a great idea. But I really found a bunch of really cool groups like Adaptive Adventures. So they do a ton of different, really cool. I was actually just up here this last weekend for a rock climbing event that was adaptive rock climbing. So there's people, I mean, you name it, didn't have limbs, didn't have use of their legs, didn't have whatever, and we all just come and get together and go rock climbing, do biking, water skiing, kayaking, fishing. Just like there's another group, or they do a bunch of other stuff like snowboarding or sit skis. Really cool. They're out of the last Sunday of the month. They do adaptive rock climbing in Madison at Boulders. And they also have a program in Milwaukee at Adventure Rock. Dare to Try. I found out about them last year. It's one of the people that I met at Adaptive Adventures is big into triathlons. So this last year I actually like started to do that, and
That's on your bucket list.
well, I did 2 this last year. So there's a camp that everyone goes to that you can sign up for and go to try.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. I'll take one more over here. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I don't know if this is like something that would be on the bucket list, but one year me and Kyle, my husband and I, we went to this one place, and what we did was we held a 15-pound baby alligator. And if you ever get a chance, try it. It's scary at first, but we were brave to go and have fun and do that.
That is quite brave and bold. I'm going to come over here so we can hear from this side of the room.
My name is Dawn, and Right now, I'm volunteering with DEI and planning committees for the League of Women Voters of Dane County, and I'm advocating in my neighborhood to save our woods. I'm looking for a position in advocacy, disability advocacy, or other kinds of personal intersection that I have. I have a business that I'm not really doing anything with, and I would love to earn some money and have more independence. And I just passed my certification exam for certified peer specialist, so I'm definitely wanting to find some work. Thank you. Yeah. It was the first exam. It was the first exam I'd taken in 20 years, so I was so nervous about that. But it was multiple choice. I'm like, hell yeah! It was so much. It was so much easier than grad school. So, and I also really enjoy planning events. I used to run a circus festival. Believe it or not, I ran a circus. So, and the one thing that I learned is you can never stop the circus, but you can learn how to run it. So.
Thank you. You know, you bring up a really good point about how community connections also can be through your employment. It can be through your work. I have wonderful partnerships with my colleagues at work, and it really does fill my bucket. All right, so now let's talk about some of the barriers that you experience when you're trying to get out into your communities. Who would like to share? The hands go up. I love it. Oh, okay.
I need transportation when I go to other things like going bingo and games and stuff like that. I do.
Thank you.
Mine is transportation as well, but I'd also like to have more support in doing what I like to support others, like finding a publisher, or like availability and time is an issue because there's so much stuff going on. It's crazy.
I agree. All right.
Great. We have actually Michelle who is joining us online. I'll just read her answer. She thanks us for including the virtual individuals in the event. And she says that her answers for all three of these questions, she's involved in several committees, although not on a local level, but a state level. And she would love to be more involved in policy. And she has obtained the opportunity to sorry, I had to move that down. She's obtained the opportunity to participate in partnerships for a policymaking program, and that many have been discussing throughout these past few days. She's excited to be part of that important organization. Her barriers are the obvious, being as why she is doing this virtually. It's transportation because she does not drive. And it's one of the most difficult barriers to navigate, she mentions. She also says that it's difficult to obtain the attention of many legislators, as she has come to find mine are difficult to get to due to their staff. So that are some of her barriers she's faced.
Michelle, thank you so much for joining in and in the chat. What are some barriers?
Taking the bus every day.
What's the barrier about the bus?
Learning the bus is pretty easy. And I know every time I go on the bus, I go everywhere, like Walmart. Well, they run till like 9:15. It's like every 30 minutes. So I'm pretty good at it. My first answer was working at Echo, feeding the poor, helping who is unfortunate needs. My second one, I love to be involved with sports. And from Janesville.
Great, thank you so much. All right, share your barriers with us.
I was actually going to say for the activities, because I know this is a common rumor, people with disabilities, especially autism, with music, if it's loud, they can't always be around loud music. But for me, one of the activities I want to be more involved in is like musicals or open mic nights in bands, because I love music and I would like to use it to give other people with disabilities, or especially like the autism community who can't really use their voice all the time and then feel left out, a voice. And for my third question is like my disabilities, loud noises, sensitivity, or my difficulty to express myself in ways that other people call, non-disabled people call normal or acceptable, because not everyone speaks in the same way, and when they can, it makes them feel frustrated, which is why I write my music and all that, give them a voice.
Thank you for sharing.
Mine is definitely communication, but I communicate through music. So when I sing or when I dance, it's a lot easier to communicate. So same like Broadway and stuff like that helps me too.
I like it. We're making community connections right here and now. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, absolutely. One more. Where am I going?
We come from an organization called ALAS. In order to obtain more resources for our children with autism. We try to always do our best for them. But we would like to see a little bit more information in Spanish. Because we do come and we gather many resources, but this is an obstacle for us in terms of being able to access information and resources for them. And seeing everything that all of you are doing is a huge inspiration to all of us and for our children, and we thank you for all that you are doing.
Thanks so much. Thank you for sharing. All right. So community connections pay for performance. The goal is really to come together collectively to help with quality improvements. So our goal for all of the managed care organizations is to increase the number of individuals who are active in inclusive life and civic engagement. So let's talk about what inclusive life looks like. Inclusive life is where everyone feels safe, they feel respected, they feel comfortable in being themselves and expressing all aspects of their true self. For civic engagement, it's working to make a difference in the civic life of our communities. So examples of civic engagement would be voting, it would be volunteering, raising awareness. The managed care organizations are going to use tools and resources just like today, where we're going to get our members together and we're going to really dive deep as to what are you doing, what do you like doing, how do you want to reach out into your communities, and what are the barriers. And then we want to work with our communities and work with our partners, our providers, our members' families, and local community heroes like Ginger over here, to try and remove those barriers as best as possible. A great example of a partner who we are working with is BPDD, right? So just being here to talk about self-advocacy, self-determination, and community connections is a really great partnership. And remember, a partnership and a dual relation or a mutual relationship is a give and a take, where everyone walks away a winner. All right. It's my favorite time. We get to dive in about sharing your gifts. And for that, I'm going to actually ask my partner, Marcy, to come and introduce it.
Thanks, Katie. So I am very excited to work with you all to talk about the gifts of your head, heart, and hands. So we quite often talk about gifts and contribution, and that is so important because the one great thing that we all have is we all have something that we can give, and a gift that we have, and a talent or a skill. Loud enough? Okay, sorry. So we all have something that we can contribute, right? So we just have to really kind of identify what it is. What do we know about? What makes us excited? What are we passionate about? What are we really just can't live without doing, right? Those are the things that inspire us and keep us going, and that's what our communities need. So the more that we're able to contribute and identify what our gifts are, the more that we're able to help out our communities. Our communities are all going to be richer when we are all contributing and our gifts are seen and known by others. In addition, we're going to be safer, right? One of my favorite stories is a gentleman that I worked with. His name is Brian, and Brian loved the Packers, which I see a Packer purse. I heard some Packer hats and lots of Packer stories in here, right? So we're among Packer fans. He wanted to go to the local tavern and watch the Packers with the others that were going to the tavern to watch the Packers, right? And at the time, his guardian's like, no, that's probably not the best choice, right? Like, that's not very safe. That's not a good environment for you to be in. So we had conversations about, like, what's important to you? Like, why do you want to do this? He's like, well, I want to be around people. I want to watch the Packer game with people who want to watch the Packer game, not by myself. And so eventually, he was able to go to the bar with some supports initially at first. But after a while, Brian made connections, right? He was known by the bartender. He walked in, the bartender gave him his root beer. He had a spot at the bar. Every Sunday he was able to go. One Sunday, Brian didn't show up, right? And the bartender missed him. The bartender went and found him and saw that he was ill, and they started helping out, right? They prepared meals for him because he needed support. So that local tavern was a little community and family of support for Brian, right? He was safer because he was known in that community. So we're going to take this time to walk through the gifts of your head, heart, and hand. So when you're thinking of the head, right, these are the things that you know about, right? You maybe don't like all of them, right? But you're knowledgeable. You have skill. Like, I know about tax season. I'm the town treasurer, right? It's getting to be that time of year. I know about hunting. I know about sports. I know about different things of that sort. So think of the things that you know about. So within your packet, there is a image that you'll see up on the slide, so you can write that down. If you need any assistance, we have an interest inventory. We also have that has images on. We also have another one that helps you think about seasons, because like we talked about today, right? Like, what's your favorite thing about fall? But then I forget what my favorite things about summer are, or spring and winter. So think about the different seasons throughout the year and the things that you know about that spark your interest. And we'll just take about 5 or so minutes to talk, make your list, and you can share that within your table. Yeah. All right. Is anyone willing to share what they know about? You bet.
How would you say poetry?
Yeah, you know a lot about poetry.
Okay. I'm intelligent in the poetic aspect of life. I'm in horsemanship teaching, and I'm a good listener.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else willing to share? No? That works, yes.
He's really good at trivia and math and algebra.
Fantastic. I need to hang out with you. You can help me with my kids' homework that I'm not so good at helping with. You want to share?
Yeah, so for things I know about, I put down random facts, music facts, theater, and church.
Fantastic. Thank you.
The only thing
that that's always on my mind is I know how to play drums, and my style, and the other thing, the the um music is in my heart, and and you.
Oh, congratulations. Well, we'll come to you in just a second.
Navigation.
Navigation. So when the GPS doesn't work, you're the person you want to have in the car with you, right? Yeah. So you don't get lost. Yeah.
I'm good at bowling, bocce ball, and Uno.
Fantastic. All right, you want to share? We'll do a couple more.
I am good at jewelry and jewelry making. I know a lot about autism, PTSD, anxiety, and about nursing.
Fantastic. Wonderful. One more.
Fall walks with friends and great stories. Fall weddings, 'cause I've been in one. Jumping in the leaves, and fire pit stories too.
Wonderful. Yep, we'll do one last one and then we'll switch over.
A lot of people don't know this about me also, but if I see someone who's sad or even at funerals, I'll put my own feelings aside just so they feel like they can be, so they feel comforted and know that someone's there. Even if I feel sad, I'm like, you know what? I may feel sad, but that person over there is going through a whole lot more than me. They need to be comforted, and if they don't, I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna pray for you.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. So the great thing about this activity is we got a lot of really good examples, right? And I've heard a lot where I'm like, ooh, I need help with navigation, right? Like if my GPS maps is not working on my car, I'm gonna be in trouble. So I'm like, ooh, he would be a good person to have in the car with me, right? Or when my freshman daughter's like, I need help with algebra, I want him, right? Like, so it's about how can we connect with each other? How can we support each other to live our best lives and support the ones that we love, right? Like, I don't have to know everything. I don't have to be good at everything. I'm not, right? Like, there's a whole lot of things I can't do, but if I can get connected to people who can support me to be successful, that's what's going to be good, right? So now we're going to switch and we are going to talk about what we are good at. What can we make? And so I had heard earlier about somebody doing some woodworking, right? So think about all the things that you do with your hand that you're able to make, whether it's baking, woodworking, tying flies, whatever it might be. Think of all the things that you've done with your hands that you're good at, that you enjoy. And then we'll come back and share.
Just a reminder for our participants who are joining us via virtually through Zoom, if you can also share your gifts, you feel comfortable, brave and bold to share your gifts of your head, hands, and hearts in the chat. We would love for you to do that, and we will make sure to share.
All right, do we want to come back and start sharing? We're talking about some of the things that we are good with our hands. We'll start right here.
I draw myself a peacock because my favorite animal is a peacock.
Thank you. Artistic. All right, Barry.
Besides prehistory, I love to do ceramics. I also play the 12-string guitar. And I've been baking since I was 1.5 years old.
Fantastic. So is everybody's wheels turning in here, right? Like I hear the guitar, right? There's church choirs and things, different bands in the community, right? Like food banks where they maybe need some baked goods and different things. So all the different things. So as you're writing these down, think about where in my community could I outreach and maybe contribute, right? Is it at a local school, helping out with concession stands if they need baked goods for tournaments? Is it at a community shelter? So keep those wheels turning.
Hi. Um, I can do all, I can play drums, mostly, mostly giving massages to my girl over there.
Yeah. Dancing. Last night you were whooping it up on the dance floor? All right, we'll get a couple more over here.
So I'm going to share for someone else again. He likes to play video games, taking care of my cats, helping my mom, reaching the top shelf.
Good for you. That's fantastic.
Hi. Sorry. Okay. Hi, my name is Rose. I like to help people for the community, the better needs people. I like to cook and cook and dance and with the people. And with my truly heart, I want to hold some people in heart. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we got one from our Zoom participants.
Yeah. So Anna says a gift of the hands that I have is giving care to the elderly. And Michelle says her gift of the hands is I am a writer at heart and often do this to solve a problem.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Any others? Here we go.
Cooking, travel, make music, or hospitality.
I swim. I do general workout, lift weights. I do yoga. I dance, things like that.
It sounds like you'd be a good person to connect with somebody who's maybe not so motivated and get into the gym, right? Like, all right, we'll do two more. And
I want to say woodworking, like my grandpa always made birdhouses, and I made a quilting. My cousin makes jewelry, and I make pom poms.
very cool. All right, one last one here.
I'm good at jewelry, as a bunch of you who have probably visited my table know. Writing lyrics, poems, quotes, evergreen thumb. I'm good with jewelry. And funny story, actually, quickly, there at an Outreach for Hope event that I did, there was a woman with her baby. She calls her a miracle baby. She was sitting and the baby was crying, and I could tell she was looking around because everyone was eating. And told the mom maybe she's hungry, and it actually turned out the baby was. So she told me I have a good motherly instinct and catching that.
Very nice. All right, one last one.
Yeah, I'm good at making wood stuff out of making wood. I sell it, everything. I would love to do that for everybody. That's my hobby. By the way, my name's Ted. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Ted. So now we're going to switch to talk about things that we love, right? So things that we know about and things that we're maybe good with our hands aren't maybe always exactly what we love, right? Like I can clean my house, I can do a lot of different things, but I don't always love some of it, right? So think about things that you really love doing. All right, we are going to bring it back for one last sharing of things that you love and are passionate about. Got some in Zoom too? All right. Okay, we'll do this one and then we'll go to the Zoom.
My girlfriend Lois and my family and my friends.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right. So Holly, she joined in for the past one for her hands. Answer was that she likes to garden. And Michelle, for her heart answer, she says, I care about those faced with disparities. I care about helping those through those disparities. I believe most of us may feel the same way. Therefore, sharing with each other is what brings many together, as many have been through similar.
Thank you.
Compassion or people in general, horses, helping others, writing poetry that helps others smile. I like to do paintings that help people smile, and I love giving smiles and helping others find theirs.
Thank you. Got a few over here.
Feeling empathy, being a great friend, and understanding.
I care about family, music, our four birds and dog, my physical and mental health, some facts about me. I have autism, PTSD, ADHD, and seizures.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Anybody?
Friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, and can't forget your pets and animals.
I'm with you on that one. All right. Got one.
Songwriting, wonderful lyrics, making music, explaining, and partners person making.
Thank you.
Right. I love to go. I love bowling, basketball, but most of all, my mom.
I bet you your mom loves you too. Anybody over here willing to share?
Music, my girl right there, and my dad. And then this is one thing I never ever did before. Message. You're you're more important in my life. I I love you, babe.
Thank you. Very nice.
So I have Making People Smile, YLF, music, autism info and advocacy, theater, art, theater, photography, more, family and friends, history and random facts, just knowing them, cemeteries, oddly enough, church, and watching my niece dance and watching my niece and nephew grow.
Fantastic. Thank you. So, the great thing about this gift, and this is one of the tools that all of the MCOs are going to incorporate into an option that can be utilized to help better learn about individuals' gifts and things that they may be interested in contributing within their community. So this is just one of the examples that we wanted to share, but we strongly encourage you to continue to use your voices just like you did today and share, right? Share what you love, share what you know about, and let your community know, because your community needs you as much as you need them, right? And let's make our community stronger. So I'm going to turn it back. Actually, before I turn it back over to Katie, any questions? Good in Zoom? Perfect. All right, we'll turn it back to Katie.
Yep, no, we've got time. We want to hear from everybody.
It looks like Michelle just wrote, "Does anyone realize the amount of love and support that is in that room?" Oh, it's very sweet. And do we mind if Lois shares her heart?
Let's share your heart.
I like to dance. I like to do poetry and make other people smile. And from my heart, I fall in love with Justin, my true love, and make me happy, make me proud. And his my poem I want to share for him. Justin, I love you. With all my heart, I dance with you. I love you so much and be with you. We have a great time, and you beat me in a race car. Going to be faithful in my own love. Justin, I fall in love with you. You met me unactive and take my Undertaker sticker away from me. I love that. I love you.
Thank you so much. And Michelle, there is a lot of love in this room. And we hope that you're part of that too and that you can feel that. This has been absolutely fantastic. We have really enjoyed sharing about community connections with you, and we hope that we sparked some interest in you as far as sharing your gifts of your head, your hands, and your hearts within your own communities. On behalf of the managed care organizations, thank you very much for your engagement, your willingness to share with us today. We hope to come back next year, and if we do, we really need to hear from you of what you want us to improve on. What would you like to talk about? What do you want to hear about? So if you can complete that survey, that would be really, really helpful for us. And I see one more who wants to share something.
Can I actually say, while you're at the conference, if any of you have a problem, I'd be happy to listen to you guys. You can find me at the table made by Melinda and created by Krista.
Thank you, Krista. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. You have a great rest of the day and enjoy the rest of the conference.